I discovered how to travel through time, but I used this power to uncover a betrayal that destroyed me from the inside. I'm 27, work as a software engineer, and I've always been obsessed with technology. My father was a physicist, the kind of man who always had crazy theories scribbled in old notebooks. When he died, I inherited a box of his belongings. Inside were strange notes, calculations I didn't fully understand, and an old tape recorder. I spent months rereading those papers. One day, while trying to replicate one of his ideas, I noticed something bizarre. If I followed certain steps and entered a specific mental state, a mix of sleep deprivation and controlled breathing, I detached from reality. And when I came back, it wasn't the same today. I was days earlier. At first, I thought I was hallucinating, but I began to test it. Calling my past self's phone, writing down lottery numbers, predicting messages that hadn't arrived yet. It didn't take long before I accepted the truth. Somehow, I could travel back in time. At first, I used it for small things, fixing mistakes at work, avoiding stupid arguments with my girlfriend Clara, looking premonitory at parties. But the more I used it, the more tempted I became to go further, and that's when the problem started. Clara began acting strangely, hours on her phone, saying she was out with friends, but coming back smelling like cigarettes. She never smoked. The way she looked at me had changed. I could have just confronted her. But then I remembered. I had an advantage no one else had. I could go back in time and watch. I could spy on moments that were supposed to remain hidden. One Friday, I went back 2 days. Instead of following my routine, I shadowed Clara. And it was like being punched in the stomach. She left work, got into a car, and inside was my best friend Marcelo. They laughed together, talked like they had been partners for years. At one point, he touched her leg and she didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned in and kissed him. I froze. It was like watching my own life being ripped apart. I returned to my time, not knowing what to do. The information burned inside my head. But the worst part, I had the option to go back again and again. And I did. I spied on them more times. I saw motel meetings, secret messages, lies being woven. Each trip destroyed me a little more. One Friday, I went back 2 days. Instead of following my routine, I shadowed Clara. And it was like being punched in the stomach. She left work, got into a car, and inside was my best friend Marcelo. They laughed together, talked like they had been partners for years. At one point, he touched her leg and she didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned in and kissed him. I froze. It was like watching my own life being ripped apart. I returned to my time, not knowing what to do. The information burned inside my head. But the worst part, I had the option to go back again and again, and I did. I spied on them more times. I saw motel meetings, secret messages, lies being woven. Each trip destroyed me a little more. I felt disgusted with myself for using this power as a tool of self-torture. But at the same time, I couldn't stop. It became an obsession. I slept less, worked poorly, and my mind spun only around the betrayal. And then I began to think, if I can manipulate time, maybe I can also manipulate their lives. Make Marcelo fall apart. Make Clara contradict herself. Expose them. The thought of revenge grew inside me like poison. My first move was simple. I went back a few days and left clues on her phone. Fake messages from me, as if I had accidentally discovered something. That made her nervous, jumpy. Then I started sabotaging Marcelo. I went back in time to ruin an important presentation of his at work. Switched files, delayed meetings. When he stood in front of his boss, everything was a disaster. I saw the panic in his eyes, but it wasn't enough. I wanted more. I wanted them to destroy each other, so I set the stage. I sent Clara anonymous messages, making it seem like Marcelo was betraying her. And I sent Marcelo anonymous texts, as if Clara was tired of him. Little drops of poison in the past. And when I came back to the present, the seeds were already planted. And it worked. They started doubting each other. Fights, arguments, jealousy. I watched from the shadows, knowing I was pulling the strings. A few weeks later, something strange happened. I went back in time as usual, but I noticed differences. Small ones, but real. Objects in different places, people saying new phrases. It was as if every change I made created a parallel line. And worse, in one of those trips, I saw myself, literally me, watching Clara and Marcelo from another angle. It wasn't an illusion. It was another me, from a parallel line I had created with too many changes. He looked straight at me and smiled. Since then, I can't sleep. I feel like I'm not the only one in control anymore. That there are other versions of me, living variations of the same pain, the same revenge. And some of them may be crueler. Yesterday, I got a call from an unknown number. The voice on the other side was identical to mine. Stop now, or I'll do worse than you can imagine. I hung up, shaking. This morning, I woke up to find a box in my room. Inside were photos of me, taken in moments I never lived. In some of them, I was with Clara. In others, I was with different women. And in one, I was dead. On the back of the last photo, there was a note. You're not the only traveller. We're always watching. Now I don't know if Clara and Marcelo's betrayal was ever the real problem, or if the true hell was discovering what I never should have. I just wanted answers, but I ended up with an enemy who is myself. If anyone reads this and believes me, please, never mess with time. No matter the pain you feel, some truths are worse than lies. And maybe I'm not even in my own timeline anymore as I write this.